For you, our listener, the learner, we've gathered a fascinating collection of ratings, and our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we want to unearth the core knowledge, those insights within,
Yeah.
and give you those crucial aha moments.
Exactly. A clear understanding of the material you've shared, but, without getting overloaded.
And today's exploration takes us into fiction. We'll be diving into excerpts from Back to the West by W.C. Augustine.
Okay.
It's definitely a work of imagination. Published by Defiance Press Publishing, LLC. We got the ISBN here, too.
Right, and it kicks off with a quote from Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead, doesn't it? Something about the creator disagreeing, going against the current?
That's the one. Men have been taught that it is a virtue to agree with others, but the creator is the man who disagrees, and so on. It's a certain tone.
It really does. Okay, so let's jump in. Let's look at the world the author's building here, starting with this character, Adam, and his whole high school experience.
Well, what's interesting right from the start is how Adam is positioned. He doesn't quite fit the usual mold in this high school.
How so?
Well, he's a junior or a third-year student, according to the wokesters mentioned in the text.
Yeah.
But he's in a history class, mostly for seniors.
Ah, okay, so he's ahead academically.
Seems like it. And it's not the first time. He apparently took a senior geography class way back as a freshman. Got an A, actually.
Wow. But that didn't exactly make him popular.
No, the text says this kind of thing established his weird reputation among his classmates.
It highlights that tension, Excelling academically, especially when you're younger, can sometimes make you feel like an outsider in high school.
Definitely. We're also introduced to Teresa. She's a senior, and her boyfriend. And Adam seems to read a bit too much into an interaction with her.
Hopeful interpretation, maybe. Seeing something that isn't quite there.
Perhaps. It really makes you think about how we perceive social cues, especially as teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's Teresa's essay. What was that about?
It's quite interesting, actually. She writes about how the definition of theft changes over time.
Okay.
She contrasts horses in the past, totally sacrosanct. Stealing one got you brutal punishment with cars today. Cars are trackable, replaceable.
So she's arguing that lighter penalties for car theft are sort of enlightened.
Exactly. Enlightened times, that's her phrase. And her teacher, Mrs. Johnson-Corinth, she loves it. Gives her positive feedback, even makes the class use sacrosanct in a sentence.
Okay, so Teresa's playing the game, fitting in, but Adam takes a different path, right? Echoing that Rand quote again, maybe.
You could say that. His essay is on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Whoa, heavy topic for a high school essay.
Very. And he questions who the real thief and victim are, arguing it depends on the politics of the day. He even brings up the historical presence of Israelites in the land.
How did that go down with the class?
Mixed reactions. The text says some kids gave approving glances, but others definitely started keeping their distance.
So speaking his mind, even on a complex issue, comes at a social cost.
Absolutely. It raises that question. Is he thinking independently, or is it maybe just wanting to stand out? Either way, it affects him socially.
You see that play out.
Yeah, Teresa starts actively avoiding him. And at a basketball game, where her boyfriend's the star player, the seats all around Adam are empty. He's isolated.
And what does he do? How does he cope?
He turns to his father's Western novels. Reading becomes his escape.
That feeling of not belonging, finding solace somewhere else, it's relatable. And this isolation gets reinforced later.
It does. There's a conversation he has with some unnamed adult about independence, about how times are changing.
The anecdote about parents getting in trouble for letting kids walk to the park alone.
Exactly that one. It highlights this feeling Adam has that he's actually getting less freedom as he gets older, which seems backward, right?
Yeah, you'd expect more autonomy. It taps into that broader anxiety about safety versus freedom.
And this leads to a pretty direct clash with one of his teachers, M.X. Bellamy.
Right, the one who accuses him of focusing on stories that slight Indigenous Americans and women.
That's M.X. Bellamy. And they deduct 5% from his grade because of it.
And Adam's reaction.
Defiant. He asked M.X. Bellamy if they're related to the socialist hypocrite flag salesman who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wow, that's bold. Very confrontational for a student.
It is. Shows his conviction, maybe, or just youthful rebellion when he feels unfairly judged.
So after all these clashes, social, academic whispers, he gets sent to his room.
Yeah, to contemplate his situation, as the text puts it. And we get a peek inside his head.
What's he thinking?
He's struggling. He's questioning this buzz inside him, this need to tell the truth as he sees it. Is it a gift Or is it just getting him into trouble?
That's a tough one. Authenticity versus fitting in.
It's a core tension.
Yeah.
And then his eye lands on a Dallas Cowboys poster on his wall.
A gift from his uncle in Texas.
Right, Uncle Alan. And this poster triggers another memory, a flashback to sophomore year, Mrs. Kelly's history class.
Ah, the sports t-shirt assignment. I remember this bit.
Yeah, kids wore shirts from different cities, talked about city history. Miss Kelly had a Washington Commanders shirt. A gift, she said.
And Teresa wore a Chicago Bears shirt, right? Something about market symbolism.
Yeah, bear and bull markets, commodity trading. But Adam, predictably, takes it somewhere else.
Of course he does. He points out the obvious cowboy link for Dallas.
But then he turns to Mrs. Kelly's shirt. He questions commanders for Washington, D.C., referencing Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, government of, by, and for the people.
And suggests servants would be more fitting. Oh, Adam.
Yep. Another example of him challenging authority, questioning norms, even in a seemingly light assignment.
This pattern, it seems to be taking a toll on him.
It does. The text mentions him feeling increasingly depressed, seeking escape again in a Western novel, this time by McMurtry.
And he draws that parallel. Wolves preying on young livestock on the frontier.
And modern students being preyed upon, in his view, away from their parents' influence. It's a pretty bleak comparison.
Deeply disillusioned. And it's while he's reading, escaping, that something shifts.
Yeah, he drifts off reading. And suddenly, he feels like he's on a horse. His real-world disappointment about not going to the stable gets replaced by this incredibly vivid transition.
A completely different place.
Completely. Blue sky, wispy cirrus clouds, pine and birch trees, mountains in the distance, a huge prairie with cattle, nothing like Peoria.
And his high school worries.
They just evaporate. He's fully in this new reality now.
It's like wish fulfillment, almost. He's physically there.
Feels that way. He's on a western saddle on a chestnut horse. He sees 6 other riders managing a herd. And then someone approaches.
The cowboy.
Yes. And the description is very grounded, very practical. Broad-rimmed, faded hat, frayed, sweat-stained, corduroy pants, rifle, a 6-shooter worn high up.
Not the Hollywood version.
Definitely not. More functional. And Adam looks down at himself.
What does he see?
He's got a hacked, heavy gray pants, a pistol on his left hip, correct for a lefty, interestingly, and worn brown boots in the stirrups. Like he belongs there, outwardly at least.
But the illusion breaks down a bit.
It does. The cowboy comments that Adam's boots look too small. And then Adam asks, confused, "Where's my dad?"
Which obviously doesn't fit the context. What does the cowboy say?
He says Adam's dad left early because snow's coming. Then asks if it's time to move the herd. He adds that he expected to be left in charge, but wasn't, suspecting whiskey was involved.
Okay, so there's some backstory there. And Adam's response.
Unexpectedly, Adam decides they should wait a couple of days before moving the herd. He asserts some authority.
Wow. So he's stepping up, showing responsibility even though he just arrived.
Yeah, it's a nascent sense of leadership quite different from his high school self.
So Adam finds himself, boom, basically in charge on a cattle drive, a huge shift. And the next section starts with that Aldous Huxley quote.
Experience is not what happens to a man. It is what a man does with what happens to him, which feels incredibly fitting for Adam's situation right now.
Absolutely. He's thrown into the deep end. How does he cope initially?
Well, it's not romanticized. The text mentions terrible coffee right off the bat.
Huh. The gritty reality.
And he has to quickly learn the names and quirks of the 6 other cowboys. Hank, Fancy, Herman, July, Clint, and Harry. He learns them from Sky, another hand.
And there's that weird little thought he has.
Yeah, about remembering numbers on a lighted box game. A little flicker of his old life, totally out of place there. A reminder that this is strange.
It keeps that sense of displacement alive, and we learn a bit about the group's values.
We do. There's a conversation about gambling and women being sins. Herman, he's the religious one, even holds up a Bible. Gives you a feel for the moral code, or at least Herman's view of it.
But that code gets tested pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. Fancy wants to nickname some banker July just because he showed up in July. Seems harmless enough, but Adam steps in.
Asserting his new role again.
Exactly. He stops the teasing, but more importantly, he declares they aren't going into town until Sunday. The priority is moving the herd, showing he can make the tough calls.
And his decisions seem sound.
It seems so. The very next morning, Harry lets out a big yee-haw, because 2 more riders arrive with 12 extra cattle, just like Hank predicted they would. Shows the experience in the crew.
Okay. And then the talk turns to these recovered cattle. Hung cattle.
Right. Implies they were stolen. But the crew makes a practical choice. Let the rustlers go, focus on getting the herd back safely. They decide to hold the cattle in a ravine overnight.
Pragmatism over retribution. Makes sense out there.
It's all about priorities.
Yeah.
And Adam, he's still learning, observing. He sees Hank expertly rope a stray calf from way out.
And realizes he can't do that at all.
Not even close. And he knows this lack of skill makes him a tenderfoot know-nothing. A liability, especially with winter coming. But he sees the rope on his saddle.
And plans to practice on the sly.
Looks like it. He wants to fit in, learn the skills he needs, which is smart. We also see their camp set up, 2 tents facing each other, shared fire pit. Simple, but effective.
Something Adam admits he wouldn't have thought of. Shows his lack of experience again.
And even simple things, like the date, are different. July checks his pocket watch at supper. Adam asks the date, and it's Herman, the Bible guy, who keeps a calendar. Little details about the crew.
But supper isn't always peaceful. There's tension.
Yeah, between July and Herman, July's grieving a loss, says something like, "The Lord stole them from me," and Herman calls it blasphemy.
Oh.
He gets heated. Adam has to step in again, stop a fight from breaking out, showing his leadership isn't just about the cattle.
He's managing the men, too. And then Hank does something practical after supper.
Yeah, he digs a hole about 100 feet from camp, says an old boss told him it's a good way to quickly hide valuables if riders show up unexpectedly.
A reminder of the dangers. This section ends with that Ingrid Bergman quote.
You must train your intuition. You must trust the small voice inside you which tells you exactly what to say, what to decide. Seems like Adam's gonna need that intuition more and more.
Definitely. And it gets tested pretty quickly, doesn't it? Adam and Hank are out scouting.
Right, following a stream, and Clint yells out he's seen something.
And Adam's reaction.
Instinctive. He draws a 6-shooter even though he's never fired one before. It's like he's absorbing the behavior around him.
That fight or flight thing again. But it wasn't trouble this time.
No, just 4 stray cattle. They do a cautious search anyway, find nothing. Adam figures maybe Clint was mistaken, or maybe Rustlers changed their minds.
But Hank finds tracks.
Yeah, Hank's experience pays off. He finds tracks, confirms cattle were stolen. So they plan an ambush. Adam, Hank, Clint take positions.
And Hank takes charge.
Yep. Yells at the suspects, tells them drop the knife, keep the whiskey bottle where you can see it. Real frontier justice style.
And it works. They surrender.
They do. No shots fired this time. The focus shifts back to logistics after that. Breakfast. Skye has a list of supplies they need from the falls.
And this is where we find out Skye and Hank can't read or write.
Right. Which prompts Adam to pull out a graphite pencil and take notes. A skill from his old life that suddenly makes him valuable in a new way here.
Sets him apart again. Does anyone comment?
Clint asks how he learned to write. Adam kind of vague. Says his dad taught him had some schooling. Doesn't want to reveal too much.
Still trying to blend in. And still worried about his lack of cowboy skills.
Definitely. Especially roping. He knows he needs to learn before they get to winter quarters. He keeps practicing secretly with the lariat, but no luck.
Yes.
Still can't get the hang of it.
That struggle continues. So they head into Great Falls for supplies. What's the town like?
Well, his first interaction is with the shopkeeper's daughter. And she's different. Proper clothes, polite manner, a real contrast to the rough cowboys.
Makes Adam self-conscious.
Yeah. He realizes he needs to pay more attention to his own appearance next time he's in town. He buys the supplies, watches her tally the bill, just everyday town life.
And he meets Nate Clements, the lawyer.
Right. Nate's new in town, trying to drum up business. Jokes about helping with bar fights or suing poachers. Came west for adventure, basically, because his brother's law practice back in Iowa was too small for both of them.
Another one drawn by the West's mystique. But the reality isn't always adventurous, is it? There's a saloon brawl.
Oh yeah, Hank gets into it with another guy over a shove. Chairs, tables go flying. Classic saloon fight scene.
Until the sheriff shows up.
Yep. Kneels down, revolver out, stops it cold. Hank's spitting blood, there are nasty looks. But the saloon keeper, Betsy, she's practical.
Charges the sheriff for damages.
$5, yeah. But seems happy with 10 for repairs. Fights are good for business, she figures.
Always a silver lining for someone. What does the sheriff do?
Gives him 2 minutes to get out of town on horseback.
Yeah.
Says next time, they leave their guns with him or go to jail. Trying to keep some order.
Does the animosity last between Hank and the other guy?
Surprisingly, no. Once they're outside town, they shake hands. Seems like a code, you know? Fight's over, move on.
Interesting. And then, fancy questions, Adam.
Yeah, Fancy saw Adam pretending to be drunk, which Adam did to secretly ask for directions to winter quarters without looking like a greenhorn. Fancy asks if he can even ride straight.
But Adam's trick worked.
Perfectly. He got the directions, gives his pack horse to Fancy to keep up the act, and heads off confidently towards winter quarters.
Clever. And this section wraps up with Helen Keller.
It all comes to this. The simplest way to be happy is to do good. An interesting sentiment after witnessing a saloon brawl and some clever deception.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so Adam's heading to winter quarters. What does he find?
He finds the spot a log cabin and another long, low-roofed building. Didn't look like a barn to him. Cattle pen off to the east. And importantly, he takes out parchment paper and starts making a record of the landmarks.
Still being methodical, documenting his surroundings.
Yeah, very careful. But then he hears noise inside the cabin, sees the doors ajar. He tosses his horse's reins over a birch log hitch rack.
And finds Mildred and her daughter inside.
Exactly. Mildred and Lorraine. He gets her name right this time.
Good start. Why are they there?
Mildred says she was looking for berries, tried to hunt a rabbit with Adam's rifle, but missed. Low on ammo. She also mentions still looking for those stolen gold nuggets, glancing towards that shallow grave nearby.
Still a grim situation for them.
Very. Adam dismounts, sits on a stump by the fire pit. Mildred tells Lorraine to get firewood.
Which leads to another name correction.
Her brother is Gerald, not Jerry.
Right. Mildred insists she can use nicknames, but Lorraine corrects Adam directly. And Adam seems impressed by her spirit, her spunk.
He admires her resilience, and he learns more about their past.
Yeah, Mildred reveals the man Hank shot wasn't her husband, but the man who killed her husband for the gold and who'd been mistreating her and the kids.
Wow, that changes everything. Explains why she was so scared earlier.
Totally. And Adam, showing some compassion, suggests they come with him to Great Falls. Mentions Betsy the saloon keeper needing help. Maybe Mildred could do sewing.
Offering them a way out, how does Mildred react?
Hesitantly at first, she says something like, even though that man, I'm not that kind, worried about the association with the saloon. But Adam clarifies Betsy's intentions are legitimate.
Yeah, reassures her. And when she asks why he's helping, his answer is kind of cryptic again. Why did I not let my foreman hang you? Referencing their first tense encounter.
Just then, Lorraine returns with firewood, and it starts to rain. Sets a bit of an uncertain mood.
It does. But the rain stops by morning. Adam gets his horse ready, and Lorraine comes out of the lean-to.
Does she say anything?
She tells him her mother decided they will go to Great Falls. Then she asks him, kind of hopefully, will we see you again?
Yeah.
Shows a connection is forming.
And Adam reassures her.
Yeah, says he goes into town monthly. They chat briefly about her age. She's 14, turning 15 soon. And she mentions that rattlesnake incident again, something that happened before he arrived. Building a shared history, almost.
But then the rest of the crew returns.
July and Sky are back with the chuck wagon. And July is still struggling emotionally, very raw. Leads to another near fight with Sky that Adam and Hank have to break up.
Still managing tensions. Does he get them moving?
Yep. Issues orders to pack up camp. And because he studied that map he made, he knows the route pretty well now as they head to winter quarters. He spots another herd nearby, thinks about the detour.
But gets interrupted by another rider. Before they get there, though, he warns the crew about their behavior in town.
He does. Tells them no bad examples, basically.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility for their reputation. They finally get to Great Falls late Saturday.
And everyone splits up.
Pretty much. Harry heads straight for the saloon. Fly gets a hotel room. Adam tries Nate Clement's office first, but it's closed till Sunday's stage.
So he parks the wagon.
Yeah, in the alley behind the general store, figuring it'll be closed Sunday. He sees Emily upstairs, but doesn't signal her. Her dad answers the door.
Does he buy anything?
Just some bags, a few supplies. The dad makes him load it himself. They talk about Adam staying at the hotel, leaving the wagon. The dad assures him it's safe, says he keeps watch with a shotgun.
Okay. And then the dad says something to Emily.
Yeah, tells her upstairs about Adam's roll of bills, suggests she keep him longer, maybe invite him for dinner. Clearly pushing for that connection.
Interesting. Okay, so Sunday in Great Falls, church.
Adam and July go. The church looks like Adam's stereotypical idea of a country church. He finds it kind of funny.
Draws attention when they walk in.
Oh yeah, lots of heads turn. Adam feels a bit hesitant about sitting up front, maybe still feeling like an outsider. But then he sees Emily. She nods towards the empty spot next to her.
Does he sit with her?
Before he can decide, Harry shows up. Lost money at poker, but found the 2 bits Adam left for the collection plate.
Classic Harry.
And Harry jokes about needing to atone for his sins, including propositioning Fancy's girl. Adds a bit of humor.
So after church, Adam stays in town.
Yeah, tells Harry and July to take the wagon back to camp. Says he has business for another day. July cracks a joke. She wears a blue bonnet. guessing his real reason.
And Adam's okay with the teasing.
He's actually relieved July is making jokes. So his stated reason is business. But what does he actually do? Considers the saloon, but it's closed. So he ends up spending the afternoon in the hotel dining room.
Doing what?
Reading old newspapers, which leads to a pretty major discovery.
The Denver newspaper.
Exactly. The Rocky Mountain News, dated October 4th, 1883, confirms the time period he's in, but raises more questions about how he got there.
And he reads about things he shouldn't know.
Yeah, the Pendleton Act, knowing Arthur became president after Garfield's assassination. Knowledge from his other time keeps bleeding through.
It's a constant reminder of the strangeness. Does he talk to anyone else?
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
A young Englishman, Mr. Cecil, who came seeking adventure but found Great Falls kind of boring. Another perspective on the frontier dream versus reality.
And this section ends with the Henry Van Dyke quote about time.
Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, and so on. Very relevant to Adam's shifting experience and relationships.
Monday morning, back to business.
Yep. Adam heads to Nate's law office early, meets Nate on the sidewalk. Nate jokes about Adam needing him to bail out cowboys again.
But then they run into Mildred and Lorraine.
Right at the office. And Adam immediately sees Mildred's got a swollen eye, Lorraine's smock is dirty, signs of trouble.
What happened?
Mildred explains she fought off a man who tried to assault her, defended herself with a skillet. Shows her toughness.
Definitely. And she asks Adam why he's helping, still wary of charity.
Yeah, she has her pride. But Adam reframes it again, says he needs someone to mend clothes for him and the crew.
So they make an arrangement.
Mildred and the kids will stay in the lean-to behind Betsy's saloon, mending clothes in exchange for lodging. Adam gives her $10 for food, too.
Practical help. Does he talk to Betsy?
Briefly. Betsy confirms the lean-to is decent, better food than campfire cooking. Mentions Mildred feels indebted to Adam. Adam just hopes to see them around town. Lorraine blushes at that, jokes about no rattlesnakes. A bit lighter.
But then Adam's riding back alone and feels anxious.
Yeah, a real wave of fear hits him. Not about roping this time, but deeper stuff. Never seeing his dad again, never having kids. The real dangers are sinking in.
And back at the camp, Hank sees Adam's horse.
Galloping riderless towards the stables. Hank initially thinks Adam got thrown, but the horse's panic tells him something's wrong. He rides out fast.
Just in time for the wolf attack.
Exactly. Darkness falling, Adam, surrounded by wolves, fires all 5 rounds from his Colt. Terrifying.
But Hank arrives.
Hank's rifle shot drops one wolf instantly. Adam empties his gun into the second one. Hank rushes over, asks if he's okay. Adam's in shock. Clinton of Fancy arrived too.
What do they say?
Fancy asks what happened, and Hank jokes the wolves trifled with our boss. Trying to lighten the mood, maybe.
How does Adam react?
Reloads immediately. Says he might start carrying 6 rounds if wolf attacks are common. Hank warns him against that, too dangerous.
And Fancy finds Adam's lariat.
Yeah, on the ground where he dropped it. Which leads to Clint teasing him about trying to rope the wolves.
Yeah.
Everyone finds it funny except Adam.
Probably not the time for jokes for him.
Definitely not. They head back to the cabin just as snow starts falling. Winter is really setting in.
So Adam's safe, but shaken. He starts thinking about July again.
Yeah, about his grief and how hard it would be to replace him if he left. Practical concerns mixed with empathy. When he's back in town, tells Nate he owes him drinks after visiting the bank.
Nate reminds him about his fee.
Always the lawyer. They end up having sarsaparillas at Betsy's bar, and Mildred brings them a platter of food. Nice gesture.
And the atmosphere livens up. Band playing.
Yeah, though maybe not perfectly in tune. And Emily makes her move, points out that a gentleman usually asks a lady to dance after receiving a gift.
Subtle. Does Adam take the hint?
Reluctantly. He says, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
But Emily leads him onto the floor. While they're dancing, he sees Lorraine watching them. Adds a layer of complexity.
He doesn't stay long.
No. Says he has a long ride back, leaves after 2 dances. Emily says she's seen enough, asks him to walk her home. Clear signal.
And her dad's watching.
Yep, from the upstairs window at the store. Emily expects to see Adam in church the next day, but he says it's his turn to watch the herd.
Back at the cabin, he finds Hank.
Hank's been playing poker all night, but somehow broke even. Just a detail about Hank's habits.
The winter settles in after that. Cold, snowy.
Normal Montana winter, the text says. Occasional warm Chinook wines. The cabin fever hits. Fights break out that Hank and Adam have to stop.
And Harry's trap gets broken.
Yeah, he's mad. Looks suspiciously at Fancy. But Harry's resourceful. He builds a new, better trap out of birch wood. Shows his skills.
And Adam's showing his own ingenuity. with the cattle fence.
Right. He designs this whole system inside the corral, a narrow alley, funneling the cattle. It's carefully planned, digging posts, extra railing.
July questions it.
Yeah. Asks why go to all the trouble just to make them single file. Adam's answer is cryptic. You'll find out soon enough.
Building suspense, and Hank brings up the processing again.
Yeah. Reminds Adam it usually takes 3 weeks before moving to spring grazing. Hopes Adam's rope skills are up to par. Still doubting him.
And Adam's response.
Outwardly confident, I'm ready. But inside, he's apprehensive, thinking his new system will cut the time down to a week. He's banking on his invention.
This section ends with Arthur Ashe.
Success is a journey, not a destination. The doing is often more important than the outcome, which really speaks to Adam's situation learning by doing, even if he's unsure of the outcome.
Hank's preparing for the work, sharpening his knife, asking about kindling for the branding fire. Still skeptical about Adam.
Yeah, asks about extra help, questions if Adam can really rope like his dad. Suggests an early night before the tough work starts.
How do they start the processing?
First, they drive the cattle around the valley twice to tire them out, then herd them into the corral. Adam starts a fire outside, near the alley he built, ready to test his design.
But then it starts raining.
Heavily. Sky hopes it keeps the dust down, offers leftover biscuits. And just then, a rider appears through the rain.
Who is it?
A land inspector. He accepts the biscuits, eats them hungrily. Seems impressed by the property improvements, the staking, the land purchase.
Why is he there?
To witness the processing of 20 head for the monthly call, specifically to see Adam's new head gate in action.
Ah, perfect timing for Adam's invention. How does it go?
It works brilliantly. They process the 20 cattle quickly, efficiently. The inspector is very impressed.
Does he ask about Adam?
Yeah, that's his age. Adam says 18. The inspector gets excited about the head gate, mentions his brother Bob. A lawyer thinks it's a great invention. He asks Adam what he wants to call it.
And suggests Adam's chute. Leads to a business discussion.
Right there in the rain. They talk about patenting it. The inspector offers to handle it all for 20% of the revenue, given Adam's busy.
Does Adam agree?
Not right away. They negotiate. Factor in the lawyer fees Nate already charged, the percentage. Adam pushes back, and they eventually agree on 30% for the inspector. Adam's learning to negotiate.
Good for him. Back in town, conversation shifts to Emily's mother.
Yeah, Adam asks about her. Emily says she moved back to Ohio. Adam's heard rumors she left with another man, but doesn't say so. Then Emily asks about his mother.
How does he respond?
Says she passed. I feel like maybe it's a lie, or at least not the whole truth. He changes the subject quickly. Asks Emily if she can swim.
And she says it's not proper.
Right. Adam clarifies he doesn't mean skinny dipping, but she insists she prefers her private bath. Shows a certain formality between them still.
And that age difference comes up again.
Emily mentions it. She's 25. He claims 18. Sees it as a positive. She can guide his inexperience. Comments he doesn't seem to have done much sparking. Her dad cuts the conversation off there.
Protective. Later, Elmer sees Adam's horse outside the saloon.
Yeah, and comments that Adam doesn't drink or gamble. Figures he's just there bragging about his picnic with Emily. Shows how town gossip works.
Emily also expresses concern about Lorraine's education.
She does. Adam reassures her Mildred's taught Lorraine reading and math well. We also get a glimpse of Emily sweeping the sidewalk away to see and be seen, while Elmer sits outside projecting control.
And Emily's internal thoughts reveal more complexity.
Yeah, she suspects Adam's really only 16. Thinks about the age gap, wonders if her comfort with him is because he feels like a mother figure she never had. Deep stuff. Then Hank wakes Adam for breakfast. Back to reality.
And Hank's commenting on the town changing? Barnhouse building his castle?
Yeah, adding a third floor to the hotel too. Hank hopes it doesn't change Great Falls too much. They sort 20 cattle for the cull and head back to town. Wagons hauling limestone past them, more signs of growth.
The weather's changed.
Hot and dry now. Trail's dusty but shows heavy use. And they get surprising news. Beef prices are way up. Chicago packers paying $1.50 more per head due to immigration.
Good news for them financially. They arrive, sell the cattle, notice the hotel's third floor is framed, 2 new houses going up, town's booming.
Hank wants to check out the castle. Adam says he'll catch up, wants to talk to Emily first. Shows his priorities shifting.
How does Emily greet him?
Sarcastically, about him finally coming back. Adam explains the workload, the competition for grass. He suggests dinner at the hotel. She accepts for 6. Then he realizes he basically just asked her on a proper date, offering to pick her up. A step forward.
At dinner, Emily explains her parents are away.
Yeah, visiting her aunt in Ohio for birthdays. She asks Adam his age again. He confirms 18. She notes it's good for the patent paperwork, practical Emily.
And she has news for him. A telegram.
Yes, from Adam's dad. It arrived at the telegraph office. They didn't know how to reach him, so Emily held on to it.
What does it say?
Short and sweet. Business about finished in TX. Expect me back by roundup time next spring. Big news for Adam.
Definitely. Okay, Sunday morning, Adam sees Mildred and Lorraine.
Outside their lean-to, Mildred is worried about Lorraine roaming after dark. Understandable.
Has Adam with Lorraine.
Greets her warmly. Tips his hat without thinking. Notes the saloon's closed. He's staying overnight. Then kind of awkwardly offers to escort them all to church in the morning.
How does Mildred take it?
Considers it. Thinks it'd be a good experience for the kids, despite their situation. Shows Adam's becoming part of their lives, in a way.
The next morning at church, Lorraine looks different.
Big transformation. She's in a lavender dress and bonnet. Not the tomboy look.
Blushes when Adam notices, compliments her mom's sewing.
Their walk to church attracts attention, including Emily's.
Lots of heads turn. Adam gestures Mildred and the kids to the back pews. Lorraine brushes against him as they pass. He resists sitting with them, goes to the front pew Emily saved, making a choice there.
What's he thinking about during this sermon?
Only half listens. Thinks about his dad being in Texas. Still processing that news.
Afterwards, he talks to Emily.
Yeah, she mentions his dad being from Texas. Adam says it's a lot to take in. They talk about the herd, dry conditions, more competition, meaning an early winter. Relief to get to winter quarters.
And Adam settles into a routine. Bi-weekly trips to town. Checking on chute sales money's piling up in the bank. Thinks about expanding the herd, wondering if it would impress his dad. But also worries about finding enough grass. Balancing ambition and practicality.
Then, one night, leaving the saloon, trouble.
He sees a drunk cowboy harassing Lorraine outside. Vulgar comments, tries to grab her. She slaps his hands away. He gets menacing.
Adam steps in.
Immediately. Pulls the guy away. Cowboy shoves Adam. Adam punches him, knocks him down.
Sheriff arrives.
Right on cue. Arrests the drunk cowboy. Situation diffused for now.
What happens next? Adam goes to the hotel.
Leaves his horse at the livery. Heads to the hotel to meet Emily. Thinks about checking on Mildred, but decides against it. Too late. He'd spoken to the kids earlier.
But his night isn't over.
Nope. Sheriff wakes him up, arrests him for assault, spends the night in jail. Sheriff takes the next cell. Adam can't sleep.
Morning comes. Sheriff needs breakfast, has to feed Adam too. Low on funds.
Yeah. Offers Adam release, but tells him he can't leave town or go back to the herd until he talks to the prosecutor. But then the doctor arrives.
With bad news.
The cowboy Adam punched, the drunk one, died. The other guy involved, Jake, will be okay. But this changes everything for Adam.
Sheriff puts the keys back. Serious now. Prosecutor gets involved.
Sheriff consults him. Prosecutor agrees to interview Jake and Lorraine. Adam doesn't touch his breakfast. Prosecutor arrives late afternoon.
What does the prosecutor say?
He brings Jake's story. Claims Adam attacked him without provocation after Adam intervened in the fight between Jake and the deceased.
Adam protests?
From the cell, yeah. But the prosecutor sticks to Jake's version. Justifies keeping Adam jailed by saying his wolf killing proves he's dangerous.
That's quite a leap.
Adam tries to correct the wolf numbers, asks when the judge is back. Sheriff mentions needing city council money for jail food. Prosecutor agrees. Things look bleak for Adam.
But help arrives the next morning. Nate.
Nate shows up, introduces himself as Adam's lawyer. Big relief, probably. Nate interviews Jake, who's reluctant, but sticks to his story.
Nate's suspicious.
Makes that comment about truthful people usually having no problem repeating their story. Subtle doubt cast. Nate then rides out to the winter cabin, talks to Sky.
Sky defends Adam.
Vouched for his character. Says Adam had no trouble with townsfolk. Then a preacher visits Adam in jail.
Does Adam convince the preacher?
Vehemently denies wrongdoing. Seems his sincerity wins the preacher over. Moral support.
And Hank comes too, offers help.
Yeah, Hank arrives. They talk about proving Jake lied. Hank suggests a dangerous idea make Jake disappear before the inquest.
Whoa! Does Adam agree?
No way. Flat out refuses. Says he has to care for the herd. His dad's coming back. Sticking to the right path, even under pressure.
Then Emily visits. Brings books and brownies.
Comfort food and reading material. She offers comforting words, rationalizes his actions as not sinful, gives him a quick kiss to the bars, then leaves quickly.
How does Adam feel about her visit?
Conflicted. Is she protecting her investment? Why the secrecy? But she didn't abandon him. Leaves him wondering.
The prosecutor's still skeptical.
Re-interviews Jake, who doesn't change his story. Preparations begin for the inquest at the schoolhouse.
Who attends?
Nate, the sheriff and his wife, Mildred, Lorraine, Betsy, Emily. Elmer. Mildred and Lorraine smile reassuringly at Adam. Emily avoids his gaze.
The inquest begins. Judge arrives. Not a trial, just to see if there's enough evidence for a trial.
Exactly. Jake testifies, still avoids eye contact with Adam. Nate, the prosecutor, the judge, they all notice it.
Nate cross-examines him.
Focuses on Jake's meetings with the prosecutor, reminds him about perjury. Prosecutor objects. Tense.
Then the prosecutor calls a surprise witness, Betsy.
Yeah. And Bessie testifies that Adam was breaking up the fight between Jake and the deceased. Supports Adam's version.
Prosecutor tries to discredit her, suggests bias because Adam helped Mildred.
Tries that angle. Then questions Lorraine, focusing on her being in the alley with Adam afterwards. Lorraine insists Adam was consoling her, not assaulting her. Denies being indebted to him.
And then she drops a bombshell.
Reveals Adam saved her mother from being lynched for cattle theft earlier. Says without him, she and Gerald would be orphans in the wilderness. Powerful stuff.
How does the judge rule?
Finds insufficient evidence for a trial. Adam is free to go. Huge relief.
And Nate has more good news. The bank statement
shows Adam the accumulated fees from the chute patent. Money's been rolling in. While they're talking, Adam hears noise upstairs in Nate's building.
Nate's renovating. Apartments.
Yeah, turning the second floor into rentals. Entrepreneurial spirit in Great Falls. Outside, Elmer's busy with a customer. Adam notices spools of fabric.
Emily startles him, asks if he's thinking about a new shirt.
Yeah. Adam says what he really needs is a new watch. Emily offers one just like his old one, minus the bullet hole. A thoughtful gesture. He accepts. She then clarifies her boundaries about physical intimacy again.
Mildred and Lorraine arrive then. Elmer tips his hat.
Yep. Adam takes them upstairs, shows them the apartment plans. Lorraine loves the window overlooking Main Street. Mildred worries about the cost.
Leading to Adam's big offer.
He says he was looking for an apartment. Nate offered him another one. Suggests they all move in together. Mildred, Lorraine, Gerald, and him.
Wow, that's generous. And he proposes a business partnership too.
Downstairs in the MP office across from Nate's. Suggests a seamstress business. Mildred's a 50-50 partner. He provides space and materials. She provides the labor.
How does Mildred react?
Hugs him, overcome. Adam pulls Lorraine into the hug too. A real moment of connection and support.
Later, Emily makes dinner. Roast beef.
Yeah, rosemary marinated. But the conversation turns awkward when Emily talks to Elmer about remarrying. Elmer says he won't live alone forever.
And Emily makes that comment about finding someone better than a woman with 2 brats.
Which really angers Adam.
Yeah.
He defends Mildred and the kids fiercely, mentions the rumors about them leaving the lean-to. Emily asks where he heard the rumor. Tension rises.
This leads into the section with all the J.K. Rowling quotes in the source material. There are a lot. Listing them all would sound unnatural.
Right, yeah. The Force includes a ton of quotes there, focusing on themes like finding light in darkness, the importance of choices, truth, unity, courage, love, loss. Typical Rowling themes. Maybe we could just say the narrative highlights these ideas around this point.
Good idea. So the narrative seems to pause here, reflecting on these kinds of deeper themes through the lens of those Rowling quotes before diving back into the action. Adam's in his hotel room.
Right, he notes the double doors to the next room, props is open. He's setting up for that late-night poker game with Harris Bear. Moving furniture, getting cards ready, checks his new watch, 5 minutes to 9.
And he overhears the argument next door, Harris Bear and his wife.
Yeah, she's asking about money for their son's shoes, specs he's gambling, he's evasive, leaves for work, sets a tense mood.
Harris Bear comes in for the game, Adam raises the stakes.
Suggests $5 a hand, says he can't stay long, but then he doesn't deal. He shuffles, then asks Harris Bear why they're playing. Reveals he knows he intentionally lost last time.
Calls him out. What's Harris Bear's real motive?
He admits he needs to prove residency on his homestead claim to get the deed and planned to report Adam's absence to help his case.
Ah, so it was about the land. Adam asks how to fix it.
And Harris Bear demands money. $10 now, $5 a month. Blackmail, basically.
Just then, that fancy buggy arrives, Lord Barnhouse and his foreman, Chance.
Creates quite a scene. 8 armed cowboys facing off against this fancy rig. Lord Barnhouse asks Adam if he owns the herd. Adam says his father does. Barnhouse advises Adam to find his dad in Texas if he doesn't show for roundup.
During this, Harris Bear returns Adam's fallen bank draft.
Yeah, a small moment. Adam thanks him, offers a drink later. Harris Bear declines, maybe feeling awkward after being caught.
Meanwhile, Mildred's at the general store, ordering supplies.
Lots of supplies. Thread, needles, mannequin, the sewing machine. Emily's surprised she has cash.
Mildred explains it away. Brother in Cleveland financing her. Says the shop's in Nate's building.
Yep. But Emily's putting pieces together. Adam looking at fabric. Mildred opening a shop in his lawyer's building with plenty of money. Elmer notices Emily's irritation when she tells him about Mildred's order. Suspicions are growing.
And the bank forecloses on Thomas's property, the deceased cowboy.
Yeah, overdue mortgage, house padlocked, sheriff and deputy keep an eye on it, and on Harris Bear, but can't watch constantly.
Emily visits Adam, worried about Harris Bear.
Thinks he wants Adam's herd. Adam dismisses it. Emily mentions seeing Harris Bear at the foreclosed property. Adds to the suspicion.
Adam makes a confused comment about copying, suggests Emily talk to Nate, then realizes that's awkward because of Mildred's shop.
Right. But Emily surprises him. She actually admires him for helping Mildred start the business, sees it as charitable and good investment, says it confirms her choice in him as a partner.
Interesting reaction. Does Emily visit Mildred's new apartment?
She does. Finds Lorraine reading. Mildred expresses gratitude to Adam again. Emily interacts nicely with the kids, notes Lorraine's reading skills, praises Mildred as a mother, though maybe still skeptical.
And Emily waits for the kids after school, offers licorice.
Trying to connect. Lorraine seems uneasy. Emily mentions Mildred making her dresses, shows interest in Lorraine's books. Adam walks in unexpectedly. Emily embraces him. He greets Lorraine warmly. Public display of connection.
But Emily still makes that comment about Lorraine's gracelessness. Bothers Adam.
Yes, that lingering judgment. Adam invites Emily to dinner. She accepts. He sends a telegram to his dad, changes for dinner, sees Lorraine waiting for him in the hall. A quiet moment between them.
Emily asks Elmer about Adam leaving early the next day. Elmer's still skeptical about them.
Yeah, but Emily insists she has it handled.
Mm-hmm.
Mentions Mildred making her a burgundy dress for the Christmas dance, referencing the local superstition about it leading to marriage. Hopeful.
Emily runs errands the next day, sees the kids, asks the teacher for a recommendation.
Drops off a box, heads to the school, tells Gerald to stop by for licorice, asks Lorraine if school's better, gets a flat no, asks Jane, the teacher, for a recommendation letter, mentions seeing her at the dance, keeping up appearances, connecting.
But then we learn about a plot. Thomas, in jail, visited by someone from Chicago.
Whispered conversation, worried about a congressional investigation into their agency if Thomas is convicted of extortion. Their key witness, Adam Duval, expected in town tomorrow with cattle. Suddenly, Adam's in real danger.
He's at the cattle pen. A fake buyer approaches, offers top price.
Lies about the plant being full, says a telegram came from Chicago. Just needs to confirm. Are you Adam Duval?
Adam confirms. The buyer leaves. An Irishman nearby sees the signal. Uh-oh.
A real buyer purchases the cattle. Adam heads to the bank. The Irishman follows discreetly. Then Adam goes to the general store. Emily's there, heading to the post office. Her greeting's cooler this time, maybe because they're alone.
Adam says he needs new boots, will wear them back for dinner, leaves the store.
And the Irishman confronts him. Are you Adam Duval? Adam confirms. The man tries to shoot him.
Adam dives for cover, feels something hit his shoulder, sees a flash, hears the shot.
Yes. At the same time, Lorraine runs by Bessie's, sees it happening, tells Hank. Hank runs to the alley. Lorraine runs to the sheriff's office. They both hear another shot.
Lorraine screams for help at the sheriff's office. Sheriff rushes out.
Leaving the deputy with Lorraine and the prisoners, sheriff heads to the alley, finds Adam wounded, asking why.
And the Irishman answers, it's a job. Aims at Adam's head. Adam closes his eyes.
But feels something heavy fall on his legs. Opens his eyes. Hank is standing over him. The Irishman is lying across his legs, dead. Sheriff arrives.
Chaos erupts. Adam explains he's shot. Doctor attends to him. Dead man removed. Adam carried away.
Emily finds Mildred and a sobbing Lorraine in Adam's apartment. Lorraine saw him lying there, focused on his boots, thought he was dead.
Emily reassures her Adam's alive, in surgery, despite her own feelings about Lorraine.
Yeah, shows some compassion there. Emily finds Adam's requested clothes, leaves to get news. Lorraine insists on going too.
They all wait anxiously at the doctor's office. Emily, Elmer, Mildred, Lorraine, Hank sits apart. Emily wonders how Lorraine got keys to Adam's place.
The wait is tense. Doctor finally comes out. Adam's still unconscious. Emily takes it as good news he's alive.
Sheriff arrives, checks on Adam, questions Lorraine.
Asks if she knew someone wanted to kill Adam. Lorraine explains Gerald overheard men plotting behind Betsy's. She ran for the sheriff but bumped into Hank first.
Emily returns from the telegraph office, beaming, announces she's engaged.
Right in the middle of all this drama, Mildred and Lorraine congratulate her, Emily tells Lorraine to see Adam before they leave.
Lorraine talks to the unconscious Adam, jokes about missing school. Adam asks Emily about a telegram from his dad. None arrived.
Yeah, that exchange happens. Adam's released after 2 days back to his apartment. Doctor visits regularly. Emily checks on him often, brings books, stays till Elmer walks her home. They ignore rumors because of the engagement.
Nate's surprised about the engagement, mentions he and Jane broke up.
Yes, Adam teases Emily about Nate taking her to the Christmas dance. Says he isn't jealous. Emily's hesitant.
Adam sets a condition. She has to show him her dress first.
Yep. Doctor says Adam can resume normal activities in a week. Rest till then. He's in a chair when Emily and Elmer arrive. Smell of fried chicken in the air.
And Emily's dress is stunning. Burgundy. Makes Adam forget the chicken.
Completely captivating.
Right.
Adam compliments Elmer on his daughter, feels lucky, notices Elmer's dressed up too.
Mildred and Nate arrive. Mildred says Elmer is taking her to the dance. Emily rolls her eyes.
Yes, that pairing happens. Adam wishes them a good time as they leave.
Adam and Lorraine talk alone. She hates school, feels smarter than it, wishes she were dumb to avoid jealousy.
Yeah, expresses her frustrations, mentions the teasing about the saloon again. Adam suggests talking to the teacher, but Mildred and Emily already did. Adam feels confirmed in proposing to Emily. They talk about her future, Mildred's plans. Their mutual protection is unspoken.
Emily wishes him good night. Adam hears Nate come home. Christmas morning, Elmer taps on Adam's door, thanks him for the buggy.
Elmer says Emily isn't expecting him, will be thrilled. Helps Adam downstairs, over to the Doyles. Elmer calls Emily. She appears in her robe, surprised.
Adam says, "Merry Christmas." She's flustered. He says she looks fine. She says breakfast is ready.
A very domestic, surprising Christmas morning.
Over breakfast, Adam, Nate, Elmer discuss the patent again. Need proof of age, 18. Adam mentions his dad's return in spring. Nate thinks that'll work.
Covers the legal basis. Then the Barnhouse boy delivers an envelope to Elmer.
Invitation to the Barnhouse New Year's Eve party. Elmer accepts. Adam gets a letter from Lorraine in Denver, asking him to visit after the party.
Yep. And another letter in his pocket from that Chicago lawyer, wanting to interview him about Thomas's attempted murder and extortion charges. The past isn't buried.
Then, more violence at the jail. Deputy hears gunshots, finds Thomas and Jake dead. Thinks Thomas shot Jake then himself with a shotgun found in the cell.
Deputy pounds on the sheriff's door, reports the shooting, both prisoners dead. Sheriff arrives, hears the theory about the shotgun tossed through the window, suicide.
Sheriff's skeptical. Thomas didn't seem the type. Lantern inspection shows nothing contradictory, but daylight might.
Sheriff isn't convinced. Visits Betsy. She saw nothing unusual. Finds Nate at his office. Nate's surprised by the news.
They go to the hotel looking for the Chicago reporter. Clerk says he checked in, left minutes ago. Asked about Thomas's charges. Wanted to interview the girl abused in the alley. Told she lived in the Clements building.
Sheriff rushes to Nate's office. Finds Mildred, Lorraine, and the reporter there. Reporter's nervous, claims he's working on a story, denies being at the jail at 1 a.m. Very suspicious.
Nate tells Adam about the reporter's interest. Elmer makes that offer to the church fund, hinting Adam should contribute to send Lorraine to school in Denver.
Emily loves the idea. Shares her own positive boarding school experience. Suggests discussing it with Mildred and Lorraine.
Mildred's cautious, wants to think. Lorraine wants Adam's opinion. Emily's confident she knows what he'll say.
Shows the complex dynamics. Emily presents the case to the church fund board. Prosecutor worries about cost. Pastor Ken votes against it, thinks Lorraine should stay with her mother. Divided opinions.
Adam runs into Pastor Ken later. Pastor mentions being a witness for the canceled trial, says he left town Tuesday morning, provides an alibi for the jail deaths.
Adam tells Emily about Pastor Ken's vote and reasoning. The source mentions the Montaigne quote here. "The finest souls are those that have the most variety and suppleness." Adam thinks about the Barnhouse party, what to wear.
Mildred arrives, looking great, brings him a suit. Mentions the Barnhouse has hired extra help. Emily arrives without knocking, compliments the suit. They talk wedding attire. Emily wears mauve purple.
All the pre-party preparations. Party's underway. Adam sees Lord Barnhouse talking to Harris Bear. Adam chats with an Englishman about hunting.
Lorraine comes in, working, wearing an apron. Emily sees Adam watching her, challenges him about caring for Lorraine.
Adam says he'll talk to Lorraine about the school. Heads to the kitchen, embarrassing Emily. Doesn't find Lorraine, told she took trash out. Follows her outside.
Sees 3 boys confronting her, recognizes their voices from jail. They're taunting her.
Vulgar stuff about her and her mother. Adam confronts them, threatens to tell their fathers. They scatter.
Adam talks to Lorraine. She admits she doesn't want to go to Denver, leave her mom and Gerald.
Adam tells Emily Lorraine isn't going. Emily's upset at first, but accepts it, wanting what's best for Lorraine.
Sunday, the whole group sits together in church. Elmer, Mildred, Adam, Emily, Lorraine, Gerald. Their unity noticed after the party incident. Quiet's concerns about the engagement.
Many partygoers absent. Pastor Ken considers a sermon on moderation, but preaches on new beginnings. Elmer's invited to dinner at Mildred's. Emily grudgingly accepts their relationship. Elmer's easier to live with now.
Adam and Emily have dinner alone. She asks about regrets from the party. He says none. Discuss Lorraine's harassment. Emily asks what should be done when tuition is due.
Emily questions if Adam wants Lorraine in Denver just to get her away. Admits feeling insecure about his attachment to Lorraine, despite her age.
Adam reassures her, affirms his choice to marry Emily, start a family, kisses her, they do dishes, head to the shooting match.
Annual event. Vendors selling refreshments, including ice cream, a new craze. Adam buys some for Emily.
One boy's father apologizes to Adam for the harassment, admits disciplining his son, but another father challenges Adam to a fight.
Takes offense at Adam's intervention. Adam retorts about his bad parenting. Man shoves Adam into Emily. Adam charges. Sheriff stops the fight. Always drama.
Hank and others from the crew are in the shooting match. First round has mixed results. Runoff includes Hank and Pastor Ken. Both miss.
Final round. Hank versus Pastor Ken. Hank hits 3. Pastor Ken miraculously hits all 6. Wins the match. Crowd goes wild.
Distance doubled due to bottle shortage. Hank hits 3 again. Pastor Ken only 1, but he still won the main event.
Yep, Pastor Ken, the underdog, wins. Banker gives the mayor $100 prize money. Turns out betting unknowingly funded the church, thanks to Pastor Ken's wife. Crowd cheers. Photographer snaps the mayor and Pastor Ken. Emily's surprised. Adam mentions his winning bet. Someone yells for them to wait.
Emily's uncomfortable sitting with Adam's cowboys at church later, contrasting with Herman and Fancy, the new attendees.
Herman promises Pastor Ken he'll be regular. Fancy's just relieved he dodged divine wrath. Adam gets 5 letters from Lorraine at the post office. Still no telegram from Dad. Hides the letters from Emily.
Emily greets him, dressed nicely, wearing a pearl barrette, asks if he likes it, mentions Nate asked her to dinner, suggests Adam visit the saloon. April Fools.
Adam plays along, doesn't believe it. She throws fried apple at him, reveals Nate and Jane really did break up.
Hank wakes Adam, worried about short grass, need to leave for roundup, informs him Lord Barnhouse's daughter and foreman took over his herd.
Hank offers to go to Texas with Adam if his dad doesn't return. Adam says he'll consider it after roundup. Hank reveals Lord Barnhouse paid his bar tab, offered him a permanent job.
Adam asks Hank to get his saddle from the saloon. Hank met Lord Barnhouse there. Barnhouse confirmed he still owns the property. Daughter at the herd due to his gambling. She's at the ranch with Foreman Birch and her son, looking for rustlers.
Adam agrees to meet Lord Barnhouse. Asks Hank not to tell Emily he might leave. Hank's taking the stage to Alina tomorrow. They go for supplies. Adam whispers a disguised joke to Emily at the store.
Adam rides to Nate's house construction, foreman gone, his own house foundation almost done, thinks Emily won't be happy with progress, gets money from bank, visits Mildred's shop.
Talks about Lorraine doing fine, sending letters, borrows needle thread to patch his bag, declines Mildred's offer to do it, prepares for trip, cuts satchel lining, hides cash box, sews it up, cleans boots.
Elmer's buggy outside store. Emily kisses Adam, apologizes for teasing. Surprise picnic by the river. Elmer and Mildred join them. Emily has a May basket.
By the low Missouri River. Emily brings up age again. Adam admits he's 18, not 20.
Emily's playful. Now 9 years older, shares memory of babysitting, jokes. Maybe it was him. Talk blueprints. Nate will get his mail. She'll see him off tomorrow.
This is like a nice reconciling moment before his trip.
Morning comes. Adam's early for the stagecoach. Emily isn't there. He boards. Notices man beside him is armed. Thinks of robberies. Man across isn't harmed.
Journey to Denver. Visits Lorraine at Wolcott School. Miss Wolcott hesitant to let him take her out.
Adam explains he's taking her to visit the Roberts, people he met. Miss Wolcott agrees if she's back by 10.
Supper at the Roberts. Pleasant. Stanley prays. Candace impressed by Adam's kindness to Lorraine. Lorraine holds his hand under the table.
Porch swing after dinner. Lorraine surprised Adam's only a year older. Notes the age difference with Emily. Talk about his stolen watch. Almost 10 takes her back. Roberts invite them again.
Adam thinks about buying Lorraine a ring. Likes to, chooses a big shiny one, asks jeweler to hold it, fears theft in Texas.
Back in Great Falls briefly. Meets Nate, foreman about house blueprints. Emily wants wraparound porch, dormers. Foreman says it's possible. Tries to send telegram to Emily about arriving in Texas. Office closed.
Visits a saloon in Texas, asks about Ted Duval. Bartender remembers him as a card sharp who fleeced locals, moved on. Finds the judge, identifies himself, asks about Dad's death, tombstone.
Judge explains Ted killed in card game, killer hanged. Confirms Adam is heir, but needs documents before details. Adam says he'll bring them tomorrow. Sends telegram to Nate about Dad's death, delay. Operator gives him urgent incoming telegram.
A shocking one. Builder won't proceed without your okay. Dad married Mildred. I moved to your apartment. Make haste getting home, Emily.
Total chaos. Unsure what to do. 15-day wait for estate. Decides to return to Montana. Case delay seems minor now.
Meets his father's widow. She confirms owning ranch, blames Ted's gambling for losing cattle, mentions Foreman Birch, son Jeremiah looking for rustlers.
Shows Adam a letter from Ted, explaining his plan to make Adam learn cowboy ways by being absent. Hank kept Ted informed. Ted proud of Adam's wolf killer rep.
Widow explains divorce. Ted adventurer, mother preferred Peoria peace, little in common. Makes Adam rethink his relationship with Emily.
Widow surprised by Emily marrying Nate. Reveals Ted lost his herd in poker to a man named Daniels. Offers Adam the ranch. He declines. Life's in Montana. Offers him deed to Daniels' herd if he wins it back from Birch in poker. Adam agrees.
Widow worries about Birch's gambling claim on ranch. Reveals she's pregnant with Ted's child. Adam agrees to meet Birch tomorrow. Asks Hank to be there. Talks to Jeremiah. Promises to help get him a horse saddle.
The poker game with Birch. Tense. Rachel, Birch's partner. Jeremiah watch. Rachel wary. Cautions about gambling, land. Adam says Dad already got the herd, implying he doesn't need more.
Adam wins first two hands. Third hand gets 3 jacks, bets 5. Birch folds. Adam shows weaker hand, admits bluffing. Next hand, Birch gets 2 aces, still loses to Adam's straight. Birch is angry.
Birch boasts to Rachel he'll win herd back. Outside, makes crafty comment to Adam. Adam reiterates terms of deed. Adam gets herd in 3 years if Birch doesn't bet over $10. Birch promises quarterly profits. Adam says he'll be back sooner.
Adam gives Jeremiah the old mare from Dallas. Jeremiah thrilled. Adam feels disappointed about Emily and Nate. Ends with Ben Franklin, quote, on not squandering time.
Lorraine's waiting in Denver hotel lobby. Adam took time re-sewing bag lining, carries both bags. Talk horse rental, Lorraine's math skills.
Lorraine doesn't want to return to school. Suspension, feels learned enough. Has planned to deal with bullies. Adam proposes new partnership. Gives her gold ring with etchings. Marriage proposal.
Lorraine accepts joyfully. Hesitates to wear it till marriage. Adam insists she wear it now. Promises to wait. Train ride to Helena filled with wedding plans.
Arrive Helena. Walk to Stagecoach. Adam roughs up expensive bag deliberately. Arrive Great Falls. Go straight to Pastor Ken. Arrange wedding for Saturday.
Pastor Ken lists requirements, affidavit, proof of age 18, or parental permission. Adam has estate papers. Mildred gives permission. Public wedding agreed. Ginger starts prep. Go to bank, deposit draft, check royalties, add Lorraine's name to accounts.
Emily overhears gossip. Adam back with Edgar. Lori rushes to Nate's office. Announces Adam's back with Lorraine.
Nate's surprised. Adam calmly confirms engagement, wedding, asks Nate to be best man. Emily and Lorraine exchange surprisingly well. Emily congratulates them, hopes for friendship, credits Wolcott School. Mildred pulls Lorraine away for dress prep. Adam and Lorraine head to winter camp in buggy. Lorraine apprehensive about staying with cowboys. Adam reassures her safety in bunk above him.
Lorraine runs into Emily, who agrees to stand with her at wedding since Nate is best man. Adam returns late from non-existent bachelor party. Contemplates life changes, still doesn't know origins. Suddenly, vividly back in Peoria, Illinois, past 3 years fade, memories flood back.
Disoriented in his bedroom, recognizes clothes, feels connection to cowboy boots. Mom calls him for breakfast, first day back after spring break. Confused, asks about Dad at auto shop. Mom notices boots. Studies coffee machine with strange familiarity.
Backstory fills in. Montgomery family. Dad owned taxi biz, helped Adam's dad shop. Sold biz 5 years ago, later killed in carjacking, no bail law. Widow Mildred, daughter Lori moved back near Duval's. Teresa, fantasy GF. Avoids Adam. Countercultural behavior, fears harming dad's biz.
Teresa speaks to distracted Adam, watching Lori. He asks her to repeat. She dismisses it. Phones must be in lockers. Lori texts Adam pic of principal driving his car. Joking, implication.
Lori tells Adam in cafeteria, check text. Adam gets phone from locker, aloud, pockets it. Sees car gone from lot. Reports car stolen to highway patrol. Before re-entering school, sees car return, principal gets out.
Adam confronts principal, accuses her of theft. She denies, walks away. Adam persists, reveals video proof, demands she delete it, never do it again. She complies silently. MX Bellamy, it's sensitivity teacher, knows Adam excused from training, car incident. Adam plans to give slip later.
Adam stays after school till Laurie's tennis practice. Waits to give Miss Bellamy slip in front of class. Miss Bellamy mumbles leave, doesn't look at slip. Laurie leaves practice, dismisses girls' tennis. Principal tries to intervene, stops when Laurie defies her, leaves with Adam.
Adam confronts principal again about forcing Laurie to play. Demands no sensitivity training, incident forgotten. Principal silent, no choice. Ride home, Adam admires Laurie's courage. Asks her for a real tennis match, she agrees. Tells shocked mom school was great due to new proper attitude. Asks the suit back from cleaners. Asks someone to spring dance.
Yeah, that's where it leaves us. Adam's Western life just vanishes. He's back in Peoria.
So for you, the learner, what does this ending mean? Was it all a dream, a vision, something else?
Yeah, exactly. What happens now? Does he remember the West? What about Lorraine? The skills, the money, the patent. How does that whole intense experience impact his real life? Does it change who he is back in Peoria?
It throws everything into question, doesn't it? Themes of change, identity, reality, how different experiences, even seemingly imagined ones, shape us. Back to the West really leaves you thinking about the lines between realities.
It certainly does. A lot to unpack there. Definitely gives you, our listener, plenty to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.